Hey y'all, I hope that all of my 80s mamas are doing well because this video is going to be a bit retro. So here's some hair history for y'all. Back in the 1980s, we saw the beauty industry revolutionize. People were starting to get more professional in the field. We also saw that the chemicals were getting better. We had permanent waves that were a lot gentler on the hair, but we still had hair that was fried, dyed, and laid to the side. And, companies noticed that. If you had big and glamorous hair in the 1980s, like this victim right here, you were all the rage. However, not a lot of women wanted to fry their hair off intentionally. For some, it was just part of the process. There was another group of women that said, you know what, we're going to get the permed look, but in a much healthier way. So one of the cool technologies that came out was the Zotos wave conductors. So this right here I found at an antique store. It had a full set in there. And what these did is they gave you the rollers. So this was an early attempt of doing hot rollers, but it was more creative. They give you these long loop rods that almost work like the loop rods that you perm with, except instead of perming it, they would get hot. You had a nice metal coil inside, and you would heat it up, and it offered one setting for setting the hair. It offered another setting if you were using it with their special product. And I have to do more research, but it looks like their special product was some kind of gel or something. So I'm going to show y'all how to fake a perm using a vintage roller set or the Zotos wave conductors. This was made by Zotos as a way to get more innovative with their technologies. Like any other appliance, the first step of getting started is plugging it in and turning on the machine. All the rollers are placed in the, or in this case, the loop rods are placed in the, unit. They're placed in appropriately. They're not wet. With these rods, if any of y'all buy this machine or find it somewhere, know that with these rods, you can actually rinse them with a very mild detergent and warm water. Wash them, but make sure that you dry them before putting them back in. Otherwise, you'll rust the machine or potentially get electrocuted. And it might be hard to see, but right here on the box is a switch, and it says wave and then set. Wave is the low setting, and then set is the high setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and flick this on to set. And it's going to, the light turns orange. It's going to, I believe, turn a different color according to the instructions when it's ready to get used. So it takes about 10 minutes. So what I like to do is while these rollers are warming up is I want to get my model ready. So I thought this is pretty cool, and it's not the light that's orange, but see that little dot right there? That little dot right there is the ready dot. And when the ready dot turns orange, that's how y'all know that those curlers are at the optimal temperature. I thought that was pretty innovative and pretty cool. Okay, so this is my model right here, and I know she's kind of got that, gem in the holograms look right there. She's got, big poofy hair. So her style right here, this was a, big body blowout. I put a little extra heat protectant because with any kind of heat setting, you're going to want to protect the hair. I put in heat protectant, I put in a little bit of hairspray, and she has this product from Soma called Hot Body. Now, I really like Hot Body for getting that big voluminous wave, and because we're adding not just heat with this, but we're adding a texture, it's going to really give it a cool look. And I know in the back she's looking a little, tragic from rough drying. She did have a wave, but it's more of like a body wave and not a true curl. So with her texture and with her existing, treatment, she's going to have that really cool 80s look. Okay, so to start off, I gave my mannequin a layer of just heat protectant, because remember, anytime you have bleached hair, permed hair, color-treated hair, you're dealing with compromised hair. And this product, it was made at a time when we really didn't know much about, the importance of, clarifying. We didn't know much about proper products, pH products. So this will produce a vintage, but it will also produce a more, slightly modernized look. So I put a little bit of, heat protectant in, and I put in some brush hairspray. So what that is just a really firm hairspray, so it's going to give the style a lot of volume. And I gave the model a deep side part because this is what we would see in the 80s. It was really about like the bangs, the height. The bigger the hair, the closer to God, or the bigger the hair, the more glamorous you were. That's what the 80s was known for. So we're going to do this section. No, we're going to roll toward the scalp and then fasten it that way. We're not going to roll it like this way. So I'm also going to start off by doing this section. So I'm just going to do a really rough section off of everything. And I'm just going to go along with the hair. Now I have felt the rollers. They are super hot, so I am going to be using a heat glove. So I think this is pretty cool. That indicator dot, that was, ooh, the light went off. That was yellow before, and now it is orange. So it's got some kind of temperature sensed changing ability. That is pretty darn innovative. Okay, so I'm going to start off, and I'm going to start off with the piece right up here. So I'm going to use a tail comb, and I'm going to use, I'm going to start off with some of the bigger size rollers. I'm going to alternate. So when I open this, I'm going to open the lid. I'm going to take out the roller by the end, so this will not burn my hand. The center of the wave conductor is extremely hot, so be very mindful of that when you're working with this. And when you're working with this type of product, what you want to do is take the hair, and this has almost like an end grip to it, so you can actually use your comb to kind of make the hair fit a little bit more evenly. So what if I need to do, you know, kind of like I would with a perm, I could use M papers actually for this as well. So that would be pretty cool to kind of do almost like a dry perm. Wrap, and since I'm wrapping down, I'm going to lock upwards. These work very similar to what you would find with a flexi rod. Okay, I got that one. And another cool little technique that I learned is, let me see if I can get a close-up of this. The basic roller theories work. So usually with loop rods, what I tend to do is over-direct the hair. And I also take just kind of like a really big zigzag parting. So I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to wrap right down towards the scalp. So play around with that and see what you'll find. So I got my section, I took a zigzag parting. And just like with a perm, you know, you don't want to converge the ends too much. You just kind of want to get it. And if you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to try to, I'll show you with another piece. I'm going to pull it away. I'm just going to take the hair, almost like I'm wrapping a curling wand, and I'm going to roll. And when I'm rolling, that's going to help keep the ends together. And if I need to, I can take my comb like so, and just go in there and get the ends straightened off like that. So wrap, 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 and bend. Or I'll do this. And after each section is wrapped, you can kind of just play around and find out what works. So I'm going to do another section. I'm going to do a zigzag here and just split this section up. Take a zigzag parting here. And what I'm doing here is I'm just wrapping like I would like a curling wand. And I'm going to use my tail comb just to kind of get everything settled under there. Wrap, 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 and nice and tight, secure. And you want to make sure the hair is completely dry when doing this. You do not want to do this on wet hair because you will get nice and steam cooked hair. I know it might seem like common sense, but you would be really shocked what I've seen clients do. I think the one craziest thing I saw a client do was pluck a patch of gray. Gonna take this hair and move it back. And don't be worried if, you know, it looks a little messy, because remember that the 80s was about being a little disconnected. Okay, and what I'm going to do now, because I'm getting a few, I'm going to start to alternate with some blue ones. So I'm going to do some small and some large. That way just it'll vary it up a little bit. And I think it'll be pretty cool to do that and get just a wide variety. So that whole idea of having, you know, like a metal coil inside but having like a rubber outside, I think that's a little innovative, considering that, you know, back in the day, women were frying their hair off in the 80s. And the heat glove makes it so you're able to, you know, get a good grip on it without having it go awry. And then the last two strands, I'm going to do 2 blue. And again, when you're trying to do anything that looks somewhat like a crazy wave pattern, you can do a little bit natural, a little bit crazy. Remember to kind of follow the rule of nature that, you know, nothing is 100% even and symmetrical. So having these little bit of, you know, having breaks in the hair, having, you know, some of the hair being tight, some of the hair being loose, that's really what the 80s was about, and even some of the 90s. And the cool thing is those kind of feel nice and warm. So now I'm going to get to the back. So around the crown area, this will be kind of cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just do the similar thing. I'm going to start to put these over to kind of go with the back of the head. So I'm going to do one that's going to be going like this, kind of following that parting. And it'll be going that way underneath. Pulling it all the way back, really over directing it. I'm going to make sure that I wrap accordingly. And we'll just squeeze it. Ooh. They're kind of fun, but kind of interesting at the same time. Okay. I'm going to do a blue one with this one. And these both of these rods, they have this pretty cool rubbery thing that protects you from getting a burn. So I really like that. So that is going to stay like that. And I'm going to alternate all the way down. Now it's almost like a bricklay pattern. You know, I kind of liken this to like any kind of roller set that you're doing is like doing a perm, right? You know, if you're using, you know, like you would do rollers, you don't want there to be visible breaks in the hair. You want it to look as natural as possible. You know, you have the ability to do this with this device, and that's what I think is pretty cool about this. So now that I'm wrapping this, I'm going to secure it like so. And again, you always want to ask the client how they're feeling. You don't want this laying on their scalp because that could burn, and that is not going to be a good feeling whatsoever. So I'm going to do a nice zigzag parting for this little section right here and clip this one away. You don't have to be super precise with, you know, doing your zigzag sections. You just want it so it's not like, you know, you're not cramming a whole bunch of hair in one roller. And this is kind of just like a horizontal one. I might do another video with like a roller pattern and do one like vertical or something. You know, there's just so many ways to use this product, and that's what I like about this, is the versatility. And if you have really long hair, know that with really long hair, it's going to take a little bit longer to set. But you can even use two rods. So take a blue and a, you know, a purple, and use the two rods together, and that creates kind of like a specialty curl. And that's the nice thing about that. So I roll that down, so I'm going to lock up. Alright, and for this subsection, I'm going to start this off with a big roller, so I'm going to do the same thing, again, over direct backward. And roll up. And I know these videos are longer, but I hope that, you know, the longer they are, it gives people ideas. So, again, you don't have to just, you know, you don't have to use this product exactly, but, you know, if you have a similar styler or waving tool, feel free to use it. And the one over here, I'm going to do the same thing. And if this is your first time, again, always practice everything on a mannequin, because when you practice on a mannequin, it ends up a lot easier than a person. Okay, so now I'm going to put a blue rod underneath. With this one, I'm going to do two subsections. I'm going to zigzag this one off over here. Actually, it should have been this one, sorry. Diagonal slice like you're doing a foil. Over direct. And the cool thing is you can kind of tighten this to your length, so if you need to tighten it a little bit more, you can definitely do that as well. So I got this side completely wrapped. That's what it's going to look like. It's pretty cool because as you're wrapping, you're going to feel the hair get a little warm, and then eventually it cools down. Now, when you wrap all the hair, it's what I like to do with a good roller set is just let a client chill out for a little bit and just say, hey, you know, I've wrapped your hair with these rollers. You can go get a cup of coffee. You can go get something. Let them just kind of relax and charge accordingly. You know, charge it, you know, kind of the same price that you would for. I would do the same thing as a perm. So if it's $1 a minute and you're there for about an hour, that is probably about $60 to maybe $80 for a style session. Some areas, you know, $60 might be too cheap. Other areas it might be just right, or in some cases too expensive. So really it's a personal thing when you're charging. It's the most uncomfortable part of your job, but you have to get paid for what you do. And another thing too, hey, if this is a new technique, and the reason why I always say don't try new things on a client, do it on a mannequin first. Let's say this product is faulty, I don't know how to use this, and it fries. I'd rather have it fry or come out wrong on a mannequin than me have to redo it on someone's hair, and then I'm losing money that way. And just for the back of it, you know what, I'm going to do 2 blue ones, because the hair's a little bit shorter. Wrap it just like you would a perm rod. And what I could have also have done, because you know mannequins could be a total pain, is on the ends I easily could have done a yellow rod, a really small tight one. But those are usually used for just the ends of the hair. They add kind of like a really, you know, neat finished look. And weave out a section here. And if you're doing this with end papers, again, just common sense, you don't want to put water on the end papers when you're doing this, because that, you know, water and heat, you're going to steam cook those ends and you don't want that. All right, roll and wrap. It's crazy to think that back then they would have no heat glove. I could not imagine doing this with the heat glove because I still can feel a gentle amount through the glove. Now I'm going to finish this by turning off the machine. That has to cool. While that's cooling, you're going to let the mannequin set. Now, setting for a roller set, it really depends on a lot of factors. It depends on, you know, what the porosity of her hair is like. If she has, more fragile hair, it could take, quicker because the cuticle's opened. Typically with hot roller sets, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. I've had people leave it in 30 minutes. You want to keep and feel, and you want to make sure there's no warmth. Like up here, this still feels a little warm. So I'm going to go and wait until the hair is fully set. And you can even speed this up, so 15 minutes, and if it's still a little warm but not hot, you can put a cool dryer on. There's all these little tips and tricks. Okay, so the hair has had time to set, and it's set for about, probably closer to 30 minutes. So what you do when you are doing a roller set is you always just want to go through and make sure that, okay, it's not warm, that's good, it's cool. The other thing you can do, potentially, if you wanted more of like a strong set, you could go in there with a hairspray, and you could actually hairspray the hair and make it, a little bit more firmer. But I don't feel like we have to do that in this case. So let's see how it came out. So I'm going to start underneath to make things easier. I'm just going to unwind, kind of like you're unwinding a perm rod. And as you do it, make sure you get the hair off the rod, and then put the rod back in the box for easy storage. And this grip has almost like a Velcro-like grip, and that's what's really cool about it. It doesn't really like snag the hair, which is good, because you don't want anything that's going to, damage. And what's really cool about these curls is they have a really unique texture to them. It's not something that you would see with a traditional, roller set today. Today's roller sets are more about waves, and they're not as necessarily as dated. Somewhere I think we have the old Helen of Troy roller set. I'm going to go around here. I'm going to drop this side next. Interesting thing, when I was reading through the manual of how to use and apply these, they said something about for special effects, if you want kinky ends, to use, to use the rods on just the ends of the hair, which I thought was pretty interesting. Like, who would want kinky ends? But apparently that was a trend back in the 80s. So I got that side taken out of, I got the rods taken out of that side. It's like late at night where I am, so I'm a little out of it in case y'all can't tell. Okay, almost there. It's cool to find something like this that is pretty interesting and vintage, because the only thing I found that was like these was the hot sticks. And the hot sticks are near impossible to get or find. You know, I really wish we'd get back to selling rollers like we did, because I can't even find loop rods for a perm. So I'm trying to do a demo with loop rods, and if any of y'all know where to purchase them, let me know, because I'll gladly buy them. And lastly, this one. So she has got quite the look right there. Technically speaking, you could actually leave it like this if, you know, this being overset, if it was a fashion look. But you could actually go and comb out now. So this is what the mannequin looks like from the side. I don't know what to call this. She kind of looks like she has like some kind of Elizabethan style hairstyle, like Queen Elizabeth. Like, look at that, it's like a jellyfish. Okay, so now I'm going to do a brush out, and this is just one way of, you know, how you could style hair. So I'm using a boar bristle brush, and what I'm doing is I'm starting and I'm holding the hair and I'm just brushing. I'm going to see how that kind of sets the hair. It gives the hair kind of an interesting look. You know, don't be scared if you're brushing and the hair kind of poofs up. That is totally normal. But you're able to shape the hair as a hairdresser. You're able to have control of the hair. And the nice thing with the boar bristle brush is when you do a brush out with the boar bristle brush, it distributes the hair's natural oil. You know, you're not tearing at it like you are with like a Velcro brush, or a wire brush. It's more forgiving on hair that's fragile and frazzled. And really focus on those sides. And focus on brushing the direction of the roller. So if you had the roller rolled one way, make sure that you brush it that way. Now what I'm going to do with this mannequin is I'm going to go in, I'm going to go and tease it a little bit. And that's the cool thing with teasing is you're able to kind of create a wide variety of texture and volume. And if needed, you can actually take the edge of the comb and just kind of wrap the hair around it to shape it according to how you want. When I tease, just like a basic cosmetology tease. I'm going to start below, and I'm just going to take this and create my little cushion right there. And blend and smooth as needed. Kind of just wrap the hair around it like you're wrapping it around a curling wand. Do a little dimension. And there you have it. This look right here is pretty unique. I can't say that I've ever seen anything like this before, but she's got a lot of volume up and top with here. And then on the side, she's got volume as well. And then if she turns to the back, she really has this interesting, drama that's going on back here. But it kind of blends really good up here. So she's got smooth side, but full back. The silhouette on this is definitely something that's very interesting. It's very retro. She's got kind of like that, really crazy style that the 80s was about. All she needs right here is like a nice little bow, and she'd have probably one heck of a cool style. And I like how it has like that smooth but also like voluminous and kind of crazy vibe to it. So there you have it with the wave conductors. I almost said the wave conformers. The Zotos wave conductors, they are pretty interesting. I have to play around with them more and find out different roller pattern ideas and different books. It definitely gives it that permed vibe without actually getting a perm. You have that cool volume up here, and it definitely gives you a retro look. Now, as of today, do I see them really having use in today's world? Well, there's a lot of people that like to have, vintage styles. Vintage styles making a comeback on YouTube. Whole channels dedicated to 1950s, 1960s fashion. There is a decent market for it. For Halloween, if you have something like this, you can do a nice costume or a vintage look. But for your average, everyday hair, I don't see too much of an opportunity for these, unless you maybe wrap them larger, so they're more about volume and waves. It's definitely something that is a little bit more dated, and something that will give you quite an interesting style. So let me know what y'all think about this look right here, and comment down below if any of y'all have ever used the Zotos wave conductors, and let me know what the results were. All right, also remember that only 10% of my viewers subscribe, so please hit that subscribe button down below and continue supporting this channel, because it's an honor to be back and making more videos for y'all. And I think that reviewing some vintage products would be cool once in a while. So everyone have a wonderful and happy, safe weekend, and if any of y'all want to try out the wave conductors, it's worth it if you want a vintage look. Alright y'all, so I did some more messing with this hair, and it kind of looks like she got done with some kind of DAR or Colonial Dames party and had a little too much fun. I kind of like that little piece hanging down there. Very interesting colonial inspired updo. Can't say that I'd see anyone wearing it, but hey, you gotta have fun when you're styling hair. So let me know what y'all think. Would y'all wear something like this? Why or why not? And what event would y'all wear this to if so?